Yo, TV, get him in the building. You don't want to miss this. Run that intro for him, boss.
And the ancestors are looking out for us. God Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the Pope chair under it. Scroll down, look at the Pope chair under it.
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Flown letter. Peace.
Yo.
Be unto you.
TV.
Hit that like.
We non-stop action trying to take care of them babies, man. Hey, Rob Ott, if you're in the building, shout out that boy Yahshua Melchizedek. Shout out that boy Brats and Pitts. Two-way, we see you, baby. Triple O. G's, we see you in the building. Hey, man, Young, we supposed to did this class the other day, but we got rudely interrupted. So this right here is a hot topic right now. We got nothing but bangers, back-to-back, Young L gang. We want to thank you for tuning in. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. And like I say, if you ain't got the 8 books by the Young Elder, you want to get those 8 books, all you got to do is leave a $50 donation in the Cash App and leave your emails and the links, and we'll send those books right over. The Ascension Manual is the hot joint, the Book of Extraterrestrials, the Hustler's Manual, the Scroll of Eyes, Volume 1, right? We got the Galactic Family of Life, the Orion Group book, the Language of the Bird book is a hot joint right now, right? The Dream Scroll, right? You want to get those books, get at me on Cash App, and we got PayPal, the Young Elder, right? $50 donation, we'll send those books right over to you ASAP, so you can go and get up to speed. Now, keep in mind, there were these people were being monitored on the land because you got these billionaires boys club who want to create their own military and they want to find the best specimens they can find. And a lot of your brothers have got tied up with this. Mike Tyson, if you look at Mike Tyson and his genetics and his type of mindset and his, they even steal their brain waves, these guys, man. They could download your brain right now and load it to a computer disk, right? And load it to a computer disk. But what they do is they take DNA and blood samples from these guys, like Mike Tyson, like Mark Henry, right? The dude that was the strongest black man in the world, right? They take genetics from these people, right? And they put them in a computer system. They took DNA from Tookie Williams. Why you think Rod Hayes said they froze him? And why did they really lock Tookie Williams up? Why is Tookie Williams in the FBI reports? We're getting ready to do a tape on that now, on how they use the gangs and use them as a weapon against us, right? But the gangs really was a weapon to help us at first, but then they turned the gangs with the different mechanisms that they involve these gangs. We'll get into that on another tape called COINTELPRO and Gangbanging or something. We don't have a fire name for that. We don't want to give our titles out, niggas be still, right? But we ain't tripping on that. Yeah, but what they was to do is to collect all these DNAs. Bruce Lee, people like Bruce Lee, people wonder how Bruce Lee got killed and how his death was mysterious. And probably they came after his son, I think, after that, after Bruce Lee's son. But people like Bruce Lee, who was a certain type of specimen, they collect DNA from people like this, these elites, right? They tie these people up in trouble. You know, Mike Tyson got caught up with the thing with, I think it was Robin Givens, and he got put into prison. But deep down inside, it's about collecting his brother's specimens, collecting his brother's blood and his DNA, so that they can go into and make these clones, because they've been cloning since 1952, right? Really before that, they was cloning actually in the 30s, late 30s. It was experimenting with it, cloning the animals and things. Then they got into cloning humans. And so what they would do is to take all these DNAs and put them together and make them what they call a super soldier. Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of them beings they was using, taking DNA from, because these guys were bodybuilders and big. They used to work out. Like Tookie Williams was a bodybuilder. If you look at his structure and his size and how his tenacity and his mindset, they took all that and put it into a computer system. And so to create these super soldiers, and that's what they was going to roll out at first. They were going to roll these super soldiers out to control the people, right? These different clones of these different, soldiers. But then once they saw that China was building robots and building a robot military, China was building a robot military now. See? And now they got robots, like dog robots with AR-15s on their back. They got flying drones with AR-15s and M16s and stuff attached to them. Because this is about to be a high level war where people about to fight behind, well, it's about to be robot on robot at first, and then whoever robot wins, supposedly that's what robots take over the world. Now, keep in mind, they put a movie out a while back, a long time ago, probably when I was a kid, called RoboCop. RoboCop. Y'all remember RoboCop, right? See, they had got into, we had the super soldiers, but now we got to make them even faster and stronger because they got to fight the machine. We're getting into the Terminator and the Matrix information that Mother Sophia Stewart was talking about what was going to happen in the future. So they saw that these other beings, these Chinaman was creating this robot. Why people call me on live, and these are people that are supposed to be subscribed to me. They must have been getting a notification. They took and started creating these robot arms and robot legs, and then incorporating this into the super soldiers, so they'd be even stronger, so they'd be even faster. And this is your RoboCops. And keep in mind, when they show you something on TV, they already 20 to 40 years ahead of what they showing you, right? So when they were showing you RoboCop, they was already having it, right? And then now they even incorporated this because we have reason to believe that Stephen Curry has got one of them robot arms. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff that's been popping up about how this dude just shooting from the locker room, hitting 3-pointers from the locker room. Come on, man. This man throwing the ball half court and hitting it all net, man. Come on, man. And this boy automatic. Shooters go to the 3-point shootout and don't miss no shots. Come on, man. This dude is unheard of. It's a possibility that he could be all natural, but we got too much evidence proving that he might have a robotic on. Which I think about that, my Steph Curry friends. And my Steph Curry friends probably don't like that. If Steph Curry might have a robot on. And then once they saw, well, China's getting better with the robot thing, right? They say, oh yeah, well, we got to go all the way robot. So now they are building they're taking the minds out of these super soldier beings, pretty much downloading their mind and then loading it to an AI type system that's going to control the robots. And so they pretty much building your Terminators type beings. They got the liquid, remember the liquid being, the liquid robot in Terminator? I think it was part 2 or 3, where they got now the robot is more advanced. It's another gen a better gen than the other gen. And they already got the technology to send people back into the future. The Billionaires Boys Club been having that by 20 years now, maybe longer, right? And so now what you about to witness is Terminator and all that play out to where it's going to be a war against the robots. Go pull up. Matter of fact, we're going to do a little video on it where we're going to show you the robots they got now. They got robots that you can knock them down. They get up and hit the target. They got the dogs, like I said, with the AR-15s on the back. They got the drones. They showed you these. I think they showed these drones in that new Purge, where these drones came out and then shot everybody up. Yeah, and they got these little tanks, these little unmanned tanks that's remote control that got these like big heavy machine guns on them. They got other types. It's a whole bunch of different types of robots that the military rolled out. They was already rolling out the drones. You know, they got the drones, right? The drones that they fly, the Air Force. They got unmanned submarines now, unmanned warships. This war is the war that's about to take place is about to be more of a machine type warfare. I'm telling you, man. And they've been recruiting already through Call of Duty and all these other video games. You think you just playing the video game, and they studying your algorithm. They seeing who got quick reaction time, and then all of a sudden they recruiting them to come to this thing where they can win some money. And then they sit there and the military monitor them, the Air Force, right? And they sit there and say, oh yeah, well these guys got good handling skills and all that. So they recruit them into the Air Force to control the drones and the new robots that they about to roll out. Right? Imagine if they can fly a drone that's an aircraft carrier drone, and they got this, and they load about 2,000 robots up that can parachute off the back of that thing into a country, and then they be all driven by kids sitting in a big old warehouse, right? With the AC blowing, they sitting back with their feet kicked up like they playing video games, and they actually taking out real people, real lives. I'm telling you, man. This is what we headed to. The war against the machines. That's going to be the next tape we put out. The war against the machines. Because we're about to be up against AI. We already up against AI. Why you ain't really heard nothing about the election? The president election. Why they ain't promoting it? The electoral votes and all. We ain't hearing nothing. Ain't nobody really saying that. It's like it just went. It don't even exist almost. We hear about Trump. But if you're just not coming in, we're talking about the super soldiers. Like I say, people like Tookie Williams, Raymond Washington, these guys were big, buck type guys, and you wonder why they was in prison. It's more than that. They stealing genetics. They've been stealing our genetics. That's why they got certain guys locked in prison. And they take their blood whenever they want. They can take bone marrow from them, whatever, and tell them whatever. And they use that to make super soldiers and clones. Can't forget about they clone Tyrone. What you think go on in prison, man? Like my brother said, they tested a whole bunch of guys' blood, and then they picked certain guys out of that blood, out of that crowd, and then put them on one tier. And then they fed them nothing but peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for 30 days straight. Nothing but peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for 30 days straight. And then a lot of them people came down with diabetes on that tier after they fed them peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So you got to wonder what kind of scamming game was that? If they ain't running some they call Tyrone, scheme and scam on us. But like I say, the idea was to use these super soldiers as the police, as they expendables, is what they call them, expendable containers. To run their black ops space programs, where they stop some shit that they be stopping that be critical, like somebody that stole a nuke or something. And then they give these beings special technology, some of the technology that's not privy to the streets, like the plasma weapons and the invisible belt. And the thin bulletproof. They got the bulletproof thin where it's thinner than fall, where you were made out of this particular stuff that they got from the extraterrestrials. They give them the high dollar, heavy duty equipment, satellite feeds, and all that. The SEALs got some of this stuff too. We don't want to get into it too much because we like the SEALs, my guys. The SEALs. You got to be a bad man to be a SEAL. Yeah, but the whole plan was, like I said, to create these super soldiers. But now that has changed since China has gotten ahead in the robot game. Now America is making it ahead of the game. Now, how America was running ahead in technology for a while because Project Paperclip that went down with them getting all the German scientists over here, and so they got ahead of the game with a lot of weapons and rocket propelled type things and missiles and things, right? And creating these nuclear style weapons, right? So America got ahead, but now China is getting ahead. Why? Because China is really probably like the richest country in the world until we wake up and say, no, look here, man, we got all this shit. They've been stockpiling for the last 400 years, all these minerals that they couldn't spend really without our consent. But China is running the game with the artificial intelligence and all this. And supposedly they know how to create their own sun. Because we got to keep in mind, these suns were created. The sun is not, the sun was put there. Well, it's not your sun. It's other suns that were made. Your sun actually was a natural sun that was created. But once you study how suns work, then you can create one. Once you can create a stellar core, fill it up like a balloon with hydrogen, and then ignite it. Boom, hydrogen burns out to create helium. Helium slows down and cools off to turn into hydrogen. So you gotta once you can create your own suns, right? They call them an artificial sun, but what is artificial? Then becomes the question. If not, most of our products are from China, right? Made in China. When you see made in China, it usually some cheap shit. Okay, I see what you're saying first. Yeah, so the super soldier thing might get scratched, like I said, but they was collecting DNA from all these strong men, all these people that was like super big time boxers, that was like a animal. You know what I'm saying? Style being that they can say we can use his DNA as a super soldier. It's a whole bunch of beings that I didn't probably name off that they were collecting DNA from. And these fools even going back, they went back to even collect DNA from the pharaohs, dig pharaohs up from out of the ancient Valley of the Kings, and then take DNA from them and reincarnate them and turn them into presidents and shit. I'm telling you, man. These Billionaires Boys Club, they got a lot going on. They even bring back dinosaur bones to try to, they did bring them back, created their own theme park called Jurassic Park. Off the island of Costa Rica, off the coast of Costa Rica, about 100 miles from that island. It's a secret island where you could pay $200,000, fly over and see animals that you thought that was extinct. And you say, why is there rules to this? No, when they go out into the middle of nowhere and make them an island, and keep in mind, if you go on a cruise, now some of the cruise lines are building their own island. They building their own islands so they can park their boat because some of the boats can't go in close to the shore. So they building their own islands like in the middle of the ocean, so they can pull up and let their people off. That's what I'm saying. Robots in the NBA, right? So you remember there's a movie called Steel versus Steel or Steel on Steel. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it was about these robot boxers where they put the robot in there and they fight. Right? They been had that. You know what I'm saying? So look forward to the future, maybe about 10 years from now, to see the NBA and all these sports games being completely controlled by robots. Yeah, Real Steel. Shout out Two-Way. That's right, Real Steel. Real Steel, where they make these robots and they get them in there and fight each other, right? So starting this, and they already got this really. They already got this. They starting out with this thing called robocalls, where they build these cars with all these weapons on it, and they put them inside of this arena, and they run them into each other and make them like they got someone might have a chainsaw on it or something else, or something of that nature, like some kind of hammer or something. And they run them into each other and crash into each other. They already got that as a sport already, where you create your own robot and make them fight each other. They already got that. But look forward to that going into the boxing, robot boxing. You're gonna see robot boxing. You're gonna see robot warfare, right? Playing out on TV first. You're gonna see it play out on TV first. Like you're gonna see that they're gonna bring in. Matter of fact, you can see it right now. It's already happening. If you go online, just Google. If you go online and Google robot, okay, it's money. If you go online and Google robot, if you go online and Google robot, you'll see some of these things taking place already. These elites used to underground before they got the idea about the robots underground. They used to take and create their own super soldiers. Like I said, imagine like you do if you guys are video game guys and play these games like NBA and all these boxing games or whatever, where you can create your own character. So when you create your own character, you make them like big and like you try to make them the best type of character on the game. So these elites, this is like a video game to them. So they got the power now to create their own characters, to create their own people. They can get clones and copies of other people that's already living that's on file. Like some of these elites, it may be 7 or 8 Beyonces walking around because the elite, he wanted him a Beyonce, so he paid $2 million, whatever the price is. Like it's high on her, like $8 million or something like that. And you can get a clone of Beyonce to walk around with you. Yeah, and then you can get it. They can alter her hair, her eye color, whatever in the process of making a clone of her, of Britney Spears and all of them. I'm telling you, when you part of these rich elite people, the Billionaires Boys Club, they send you a brochure around and they say buy a clone for $2 million, and that's the cheapest, like the cheap one. You really can get one for like 1.8. It's like the cheapest clone. Then they go up in price depending on if you want to use somebody else, add somebody else features into it. And all these people sell their soul to get they take their DNA and put it on file. That's what about. Yeah, they got them too. That's the ones that China was building, these big, huge robots. And that's what made America get into certain things and trying to create that EMP, the electromagnetic pulse weapon, to try to fight against these machines. So how would you fight against a robot, a robot dog with an AR-15 on his back? How would you beat that? With a blowtorch gun? What would you have to fight robots? Y'all better get prepared to fight against a robot. Fight against a drone that can pull up on you real fast, like super fast, with a AR-15 on them and then you gone. And it's some kid controlling it from a damn laptop in a warehouse working for the Air Force. He an Air Force guy. A guy. It says water, right? Now they already compensated for that. They compensated for you being able to shoot them with certain types of weapons. The weapons you got ain't gonna even work against these dog robots or these other robots because they build them out of a certain type of steel that's bulletproof and waterproof, water resistant. They don't rust or nothing. So water is not gonna beat them. They even got robots that go underwater. They got unmanned drones, unmanned submarines, unmanned all that. Now, if you can just distort the connection or electrical system some kind of way, because they're gonna be working off like a certain type of this energy that they're gonna be working off of, it can be power for this lithium. It's gonna be working. They can power them for about 7 to 8 years once they charge all the way up, and then they'll be some of them will be solar powered, and or they'll come off of a charging station that'll be like a mothership for them. They'll return to at a certain time once they get through police and the people. And then they got these robots. They got, in order to compensate for them running down on the power, they got a whole bunch of them to rotate them like on a shift, like they do right now with the police. Police work 2 different shifts, or 3 different. It's really 3 shifts, right? Like it's a morning, a mid, and then a night shift, graveyard shift. The X-Mans and all that stuff, they already got that. They already been doing some of the drugs that they give some of these agents to help them stay up or help them with superpower, help them get rid of fear. They already been compensated for that too. But like I say, you better start learning how to fight, take out a robot, stop a robot, break a robot down, reverse engineer one, so that you can turn them against them. Hey, we got any more questions? We just want to bring that to you about the super soldiers. It's really the old topic. They've been doing the super soldiers about 40 years right now. They've been working on the super soldiers about 40 years. They take people like Evander Holyfield, take DNA from them. They take people like Wesley Snipes. Anybody that's got like a certain type of fatigue or mindset, they'll take they brain waves and everything, and they can create they can add memories. They can take away memories off of this disc. Like I said, they can load your mind to a disc right now. These beings. Okay. Yeah, Bruce Lee. They took DNA from Bruce Lee too. So you can hack their grid. That's a good start. Having a computer guy that can hack into their shit, and but they already went out and scouted all the hackers already to work for them. Yeah. So what they're gonna try to do is they're gonna try to force us to go underground, just like they showed in the movie on the Matrix. And the machines are gonna start trying to grow They can grow humans now. So they can grow humans and program them to what they want and just use them for batteries. They want to use these humans for batteries, these machines, these AI. It says we have X-Man power within us. Yeah, that's right. But keep in mind, we're not X-Men, right? The X represents the unknown. We know who we is. X represents the unknown. We are C-Man. You hear it? We're not X-Man, we C-Man. You hear it? Put it together. Spin it in your mind. It'll come to you. And when you come out of your father, are you an X-Man or are you a C-Man? So that means you come out of the water. Now you can take the X off, and there you go. Right? We don't want to crack too many heads. And we already cracked some heads. Probably just with that one right there. Y'all need to go check us out, man. We got 1,500 tapes out. We got tapes on the Anarchies. We got tapes on the Ascension Manual classes. Who else is doing it? The Alchemy classes with Tahuti. Right? We got, hey, go check out that tape we just put out yesterday called Nana on the Dark Side of the Moon. Right? Like I said, if you want to get them 8 books by the Young Elder, we got 8 books, man, put out. Right? Like I say, the Ascension Manual was one of them. That's the hot joint right there. The Book of Extraterrestrials, we got about 800 extraterrestrial different groups in there. It'll take you a while to go through there. We got the pictures and everything. So you want to check that out. We got that. So like I say, it's $50 donation for all 8 books to the Cash App, the Young Elder or PayPal. Leave your emails and the links, and we'll get them books right over to you. We got any more questions? We might come back with another and say super soldiers like Captain America. Yeah, that's right, like Captain America. They was already using a lot of these super soldiers already, like I say, on what they call expendable missions or suicide missions. And so, but when they was running, when they encountered the robot shit, they said, "Oh yeah, well we can just step to the rope, bring these robots out, and just download these soldiers' mind and load it up to an avatar." Or at first they was loading, just downloading these super soldiers' mind and load them up to avatars, and then they started doing it, load them up to the AI, so it could be like a central high type military brain that they can run these robots with. Because you got to keep in mind when you watch the movie Avatar, right? Remember on Avatar Part 2, they brought that general back and put his mind in the avatar. They just put his mind in the avatar and brought him back to life. So they was doing that type of stuff at first, and then they, like I said, they went to the robot thing. Is the robot aware of itself, or is that person aware of itself? In some way, but not completely. In some way, they can say, "Oh yeah, well, if they can come to a realization that hey, well, I'm a robot now." Right? A sentient being, what they call a sentient being. But the way they did it, they programmed it where it wouldn't come to that, where it won't really come to that conclusion, right? Because it's based off of one central high. So they say if you take 10 warriors that was the best warriors you got, and then you download all their brains to this computer. And then you go through it and scan through it and take out the bad stuff and keep all the good stuff and just make one specific brain thought, wave thought, and then they give it to that person. So that person thoughts could be other people's thoughts too, or thoughts that wasn't theirs that they added and took out, the way they do it on this computer disk. Says, that's right. I think it was that Cooks was that iRobot, the one that would where he was fighting that robot. Yeah, watch the movie iRobot. They give you an idea of what's going on now. Yeah, learn how to make an EMP device. If you want to try to beat these robots, they're gonna be one thing. Or it's a way that you can shield yourself from different devices and things, like covering your phone with foil. Because they're gonna be able to track whoever on the phones. These drones can track you on your phone. They got the locator on your phone. They can just activate the locator, send the drones where you at, and boom, you out of there. So they getting smarter with the phones. If you see a drone flying somewhere, man, pay attention to it. Like coming towards you, because they about to get ready to roll this shit out, man. You got to think about it. This is election year. So every time election year is always some weird shit that go down. And they got a whole bunch of stuff on the table. Like I say, a lot of them took off running so far, but the reptilians really is the ones that's involved with the drones and the robots take over to control the surface. Cover it with rubber. Rubber is a good blocker in electricity. That's the idea. And robots, they gonna be these. Some of them gonna have some of these dog robots got flamethrowers coming out of their mouth, and they got the AR-15 on their back. And imagine if a pack of them pull up on you, 7 or 8 of them, a pack of them robot dogs with machine guns on them. Run them over in a car or something, some type of heavy. You're gonna need some heavy duty stuff to beat these people. Really, technically, humans ain't really ready to fight against the robots. That we ain't gonna stand a chance. You ain't gonna stand a chance unless you stick together and come up with a plan right now. I'm telling you, because they're getting ready to roll them out. We going into by 2030, the robots will be completely rolled out on the streets, policing people. Yeah, the phones, man. You know, the dogs of war. Like is that a movie? Cook. Man, but we ain't want to hold you long because we got a whole bunch of tapes already out. We want you to go check out, man. We got the tapes with Rod, the public service announcement. We keeping you busy, 24/7, non-stop action. That's right. And a lot of those video games that you play, like the guys that play like Grand Theft Auto and all that, they monitoring your algorithm, the AI. When you post shit on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, AI monitor your algorithms, monitor what you buy, monitor where you go. So pretty much they don't gotta have agents no more. The phones have become their agent, and the AI is pretty much is the ones that's behind it. They putting out want everybody to have a cell phone for a cheap price a month, $50 a month, $30 a month, so they can put trackers on everybody willingly, because you sign paperwork when you go get these phones to agree to be tracked and watched and monitored. You don't even know that, because a lot of people don't read when they sign for the phone. They just sign for it just to be happy to get a phone. Yeah, a lot of Walmarts and Walgreens are closing. Why? Because they be gonna be used for FEMA. We can't get too much into it because you know how they be with the algorithm. So, so Green, yeah, those two organizations are part of the FEMA operation. Because keep in mind, we just put a tape out called "The Shocking Map of the U.S." in 2025. And like I say, I don't know for sure if it's going to happen completely in 2025, but the people who, all the references that we checked, they hinted to around 2025 is when this weather pattern started to act crazy because of Nubaru coming into the atmosphere, causing the well, it happened a long time ago where Nubaru caused the poles to shift, right? And then when Tahuti said that they weren't gonna let that happen no more, so they came and they put weights. We call them the pyramids. They put weights on the earth and balanced the earth out so where it wouldn't spin no more when Nubaru came. It would just like take a stagnatic pull, which is what's happening now, and it's causing you got tornadoes, huge tornadoes going on. Keep in mind they just put a movie out called Twister. They telling you something. They just put a new Twister movie out where people go and chase tornadoes, and then now all of a sudden in the tornado, you having all these tornadoes in Texas and Oklahoma and all these areas. Keep in mind about the Anunnaki weather device, altering weather device. Yeah, phones been snitching. They got a camera on the front, two cameras on the back, and a flashlight on there too to really pick you up on there. And they got trackers on every phone. And now the new cars they putting where they can cut them off by computer, and they putting a camera on the outside, the back, and the front, and both with the rear view, both with a side mirror on all the new cars now. Telling you, it's more control. Because keep in mind, God is He who's in control. That's right, two-way. What else you got to say? Yeah, right. And the iPhone, and I think it's every phone now, is to take a picture of you every 10 seconds. It takes a picture of you every 10 seconds. Yeah, that industry was being ran by the Proconians. And now that the Proconians de facto, notice they ain't really coming out with nothing new. It's all reruns and replays and clips. They already been shut down. What else y'all got, man? We ain't want to hold you long. 40 minutes is good enough. About the super soldier topic. But we'll be back, man. Like I said, if you want to get them books, get at us, man. $50 donation to the Cash App, PayPal, the emails and the links. Young, Wadu.